Here, we are in place. Inspector, have you checked the plan?
Affirmative, Prime Minister. Half of Scotland Yard is in the building. The other half is spread out over the vicinity with mobile patrols. No one can pass unseen.
Perfect, gentlemen. There's nothing else to do but wait.
This will be our revenge.
The merit belongs to you, dear Doctor. You will have the honor of bringing the news of our triumph to Her Majesty.
Thank you. But we cannot forget Holmes, who...
By the by, where is he?
He preferred to remain at Baker Street. I think he is somewhat vexed that I was able to resolve the affair without him.
We wouldn't be mollycoddling Holmes.
Too bad for him. He learned of Lupin's capture through the papers.
If I'm mistaken, I'll be the only one to know. However, if I am correct, Lupin has very little lead on me and will remain unaware of my presence here. He's alive and doesn't seem hurt. This man was certainly put to sleep by a strong sedative. There is no longer any doubt. Lupin is here, and there's no question what he has come to steal. What is his plan? I must find Chief Warder Smith and inform him as soon as possible. There, some cartridges are intact. The name Schick is inscribed on his uniform, and to judge by his glossy moustache, he takes good care of himself. This sidearm was submerged in water and is unusable. Lupin must have installed this rope in order to take the maximum number of objects out of the Tower of London without having to transport them. Think, if I want to catch Lupin and be assured that he hasn't been able to remove the jewels before that time, I must prevent him from using this rope without him noticing. This rope is very high. Without the keychain, I cannot get up to the ramparts, and scaling the wall in this rain will prove too hazardous. I would have to wing something towards the rope. Something that can cut it or burn it, perhaps.
How are you, Warder?
Hickman.
Are you injured?
No, but I have a headache. I feel sleepy.
Wake up. Where's Chief Warder Smith?
He left with the doctor into the storeroom.
I must leave. Bide your time until I return.
Certainly a gift for a child.
Roller skates.
This uniform seems to be made for a child. This man must be of a small stature. This lamp has a funny shape. I am taking it. This may prove to be useful. This bed is dusty and must not have been occupied for quite some time. Two hot air balloons in solidarity. The inertia of such a ship necessitates particularly precise and stable flight conditions. Closed. Closed. This warder is asleep. The name embroidered on his uniform indicates that he is Kirkpatrick. There is something here. There seems to be a little bit of green paint on the right hand. Someone was dragged to the door of the storeroom. The rain hasn't yet removed the prints, thus they must be quite recent. This print on the ground suggests that someone had a heavy fall here. This print on the ground suggests that someone was dragged to the door of the storeroom. The rain hasn't yet removed the prints, thus they must be quite recent. Closed.
The storeroom is locked. Who possesses a key?
Smith and the cook, but he is out.
Who else? Speak, Warder.
Fatty Johnson, in his locker, a duplicate which he stole.
I must leave. Bide your time until I return.
This warder is asleep. The name embroidered on his uniform indicates that he is Kirkpatrick. Open! This may prove to be useful. 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 Closed. Closed.
Which is Johnson's locker? Where is it in the locker room?
Don't know. I never pass it.
Where is your locker and those of the wardens that you know?
My locker. It's the fourth on the left, next to Bell and the new. Opposite the fellow who is on duty with me. Willoughby is closest to the entrance. At the back is Dirty Flint. His locker stinks, and nobody wanted to be next to him.
I believe that's it. The sleeping pill has produced its effect. He's in a deep sleep, and I won't be able to get anything else from him.
It must be the guard's cloakroom. It's typical Scottish material. There is a kilt inside this locker.
Ahem. Well, Lupin is certainly making us wait. It's already been 4 hours that...
Enough, Lestrade, enough. I know how to count.
Listen. Shh.
What?
I hear a noise. Like a motor. A small motor.
Well, you have a good ear, because I don't hear anything with this cursed tick-tock.
Shh. Keep quiet. There is a strange noise, I tell you.
It's true. It's behind the door. Quick, Lestrade, it's him.
It's Lupin. What can he be up to?
Watch out! I'm going to open the door. I'll see...
So, Inspector?
What are you doing? Wake up, you lot of bunglers! It was nothing, just the snores of the men on duty.
Bravo, Lestrade! You keep your men in line.
You ought to congratulate Dr. Watson. A bit more, and it would have been the longest police hideout of all time.
Calm, gentlemen. Calm. Lupin won't be long now.
elementary. This door is solid, the lock is rather ancient, and each locker has a different lock. If I want to open one in particular, the chance of finding a key within a reasonable amount of time is almost null. I will have to use force. Blow up the lock, perhaps? I will have enough gunpowder to blast open one locker. I must be sure of which one. Open. This haggis is fresh and supple. Perhaps it is meant for the cook in order to prepare a special dish. Not appetizing, but I'm taking it regardless. This must be the key to the storeroom. Smith looks to be unconscious. Is there a chance of waking him up? Water. That's it. Hickman fell asleep quite gradually, probably under the effect of a strong narcotic. The prints on the ground in front of the storeroom made me think that Smith was knocked out and not drugged. Thus, only a bit of cold water was necessary to awaken him.
Smith, wake up. Do you hear me, Smith? It's Holmes.
My head. What's going on? What am I doing here? Mr. Holmes? Where is the doctor?
Listen, Smith, pull yourself together and come here. Can you open this grill?
My keychain has disappeared. No, I can't open it. After you came through the other day, the cook insisted on changing the lock. It now needs a key.
Fine. In that case, I'll need your help. We'll need to find a way to get you out of there. Foremost, you must precisely recount the events of the night. And who is the doctor you speak of?
Well, early in the afternoon, the few men who were still present in the rampart were taken sick, with awful stomachaches. Must have been something in yesterday's meal. I don't digest tomatoes well, so I didn't eat, and I felt fine. Our usual doctor was absent, so I had to call a doctor in the area, Dr. Cernin. He hasn't been around for long, but I've heard good things about him. In examining the first man, he appeared alarmed and insisted on treating them with injections. We checked on all of the guards and he treated them all. The last to be treated was Hickman. The doctor was vexed as he didn't have enough medication to administer a full dose, but he assured me it would be enough. Afterwards, he asked if we had seen all of the men in the garrison, which was affirmative. He asked me to accompany him to the postern, and I had hardly turned when I felt a sharp pain at the base of my head. I don't remember anything else.
I am beginning to see. What medication did he administer?
I really don't know. An empty vial fell into a puddle, and I picked it up.
The label is damaged and the water would have washed out any remaining substance. Impossible to tell what it held.
But what are you doing here? Can you explain what's going on?
I assume that the guards who are watching the crown jewels were also attended to.
Yes, and the only key leading to that room is on my chain.
I must help you out of here. Is there another key to this grill?
The cook has one, but he's out. However, I think I had a spare key to the guardroom maid, and it wasn't on my chain. You might just find something there that will get me out of here, or capture the person responsible for all of this. Get me out of here, Holmes.
The lock of the grill has been changed, and I can no longer open it.
dish is empty, but might work.
This liquid has a strong smell, certainly a petrol derivative to lubricate or clean metal. There isn't much left, just enough to moisten a rag. Perhaps I'd be able to find something useful in this case, but it is locked. Perhaps I'd be able to find some... The interior diameter of this cannon is approximately 2.5 inches.
This served to store the exact quantity of powder necessary to load the cannon.
If I am to believe the tag on his uniform, this warder is called Summerby. Apparently he was also taken care of by the doctor, Dr. Lupin. Look, this warder must have lost this key in falling. What could it be for? It's the door of the Queen's jewel house, and it is quite solid. Was that the sound of a saw from behind the door? Lupin could be finished in his work any moment. I must make haste. This may prove to be useful. This may prove to be useful. The lock of the grill has been changed, and I can no longer open it.
Take this file, it's all that I could find. Is there any way to enter the jewel house without a key?
No, not without a cannon at least.
In that case, I'll have to find one.
You are kidding, I'm sure.
I would not trifle with such a serious matter as this.
The munitions are found in the armory at the top of the staircase heading to the White Tower, the central tower. Apart from the one on my keychain, the other key is found in one of the service buildings, and it will be far too complicated to tell you how to locate it.
Pray, release yourself as quickly as possible. Go find the key and open the door of the armory for me. I will join you there. Is that your scarf over there? Can you please pass it to me?
My daughter just finished knitting it.
She should start knitting another, because before entering the jewel house, I must block Lupin's retreat.
This may prove to be useful. There is a stool here, This helmet stand is quite singular, sturdy and very light. Small, dry pieces of wood. I must burn the rope that Lupin strung between the jewel house and the exterior. otherwise he will escape that way. Quickly, time is pressing. Now, I must release my hot air balloons in precise order. I must burn the rope that Lupin strung between the jewel house and the exterior, otherwise he will escape that way. Quickly, time is pressing. I will ignite my balloons as soon as I release them. Watch out, they're off. The rope must have been somewhat damaged to no longer be able to support a heavy load. Let's see if Smith has been able to get out and find the key to the arsenal.
I've been working as quickly as I could, but my old arms have been shaking like leaves with the effort.
While I am taking care of the robber, you will need to get to the base of Big Ben in order to find one of the officers thereabouts, because I don't think you'll find another in the whole of London.
But what are they doing there?
Enough already! Enough!
Prime Minister,
Where is he then, this Lupin? Does he think I have nothing better to do?
I've just done my round. You wouldn't believe, but there's a mob of journalists down there.
Well, that takes the biscuit.
It's not surprising. Half the force has been kicking their heels in front of Big Ben for the past 8 hours. It couldn't go unnoticed forever.
Journalists, a mob, yes, but of course.
What now, Doctor?
Inspector, check the identities of the journalists. Lupin has previously disguised as a journalist, and I am sure it was he who alerted them in order to create a diversion and slip in.
Well played, Doctor. I'm on it. At last, some action.
Lupin has previously disguised himself as a journalist, did you say? When was this, then, Doctor?
Well,
A small barrel of powder.
These cannonballs are very heavy. I can only take one at a time. Curious, one of these glasses, which resembles those in a chemist's laboratory, reads 2.8 ounces. The other gradings have been erased. This may prove to be useful. This thick cover could support a very heavy load. This cannon is heavy, but I will be able to push it. I will need to find a way to move it to the front of the door of the Queen's Jewel House. Now I can push it to the door of the Jewel House. The stairs are preventing me from getting past. How can I mount them with my artillery? There, the door is dismantled. Now I must find the appropriate location where I should place it. I need something. I need something. There, the door is dismantled. Elementary. There, now I am in firing position, and there's nothing more to do but load this cannon.
I must decant the proper amount of powder into this receptacle and pour it into the cannon.
Elementary. 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 There, now I am in firing position, and there's nothing more to do but load this cannon. I need something.
If I were you, Lupin, I wouldn't take that path. As you can surmise by the plumes of smoke emanating from the rope originating from this window, it, let's say, suffered by my hand, and there's no chance that it'll support your weight nor the items that I imagine you to be carrying.
You impress me, Mr. Holmes. You see, I concocted this plan with such thoroughness and, I'm sure you'll agree, a fair amount of genius, such that I was saddened that none would see it as I brought it to fruition. And yet, there you were from the first. A bit too close for comfort, wasn't it? And if you are here, it's because you must have searched, and most certainly found all of the parts of the puzzle, down to the smallest detail. And I can't but congratulate you on your performance. I am a gentleman, Mr. Holmes, and even if I didn't always show good sportsmanship during this adventure, my sense of honor obliges me to acknowledge your victory tonight. As someone who never knew defeat before meeting you, I would like to express my admiration and how honored I am that you not only played this game with me, but won also.
You should, Monsieur Lupin, understand that I share your admiration and know that if you're giving me the honor of the victory tonight, it was yours the last 4 times.
Your intelligence has no equal apart from your sense of chivalry, Mr. Holmes. You know as well as I do, those were but a few minor obstructions, and whoever wins the final battle takes the war.
Despite everything, our camp suffered some losses, the gravity of which could have been fatal if they had been made public. No one, myself included, would have come out of a Pyrrhic victory unscathed.
I betrayed myself by doing anything that could have harmed your reputation. I am duty-bound to you, Mr. Holmes, and I will accept your conditions, even if they dishonor me, as long as they don't dishonor my country.
You managed, thanks to your remarkable intelligence, to deny me any margin of maneuverability to decide in advance should we find ourselves in the situation in which we are. It was a chess match, and there is nothing remaining on the table but the two kings. This is a classic stalemate, wouldn't you agree?
You will find at this address a master's painting, a great rock, and a few birds. As for what Her Majesty wished for me, I had no choice but to give it to her at that very instant. Once again, I am at a loss for words to express the pleasure that I took from this adventure with you. Even if it costs me, I promise, on my honor, that I will never publicize the account of what took place.
We shall not meet again, my friend, but know that during the past few days, your presence in our soil did as much honor to your country as ours. Safe journey, Monsieur Lupin.
What? You'll let him leave like that?
What choice did I have, Watson? Look at the whole picture. Lupin's real intent was to steal the crown jewels. The goal of all the other thefts was to provide a sort of insurance in the case of failure, and, above all, to ensure the services of a plethora of accomplices. Us.
Us? Accomplices? I admit that I was fooled once, but I didn't steal anything.
From the moment we read Lupin's first letter, we became his accomplices. In fact, by having us play his game, Lupin was conditioning us. After the first theft, he left clues leading us to the second, from the second to the third. So well that as the second to last theft, we were convinced that Lupin's final target would be Big Ben. Lupin knew that the authorities, headed by the Prime Minister himself, would align themselves with the only person who could sort out Lupin's schemes as they happened: myself. Therefore, in controlling me, he was controlling all of London's police force, and he nearly succeeded.
Then why not simply steal the jewels to begin with? Why this whole masquerade?
I've just explained it, Watson. In order to steal the crown jewels, Lupin had to accomplish certain preliminaries. In the first place, he had to be assured that the garrison would be only minimally guarded on the night of the theft. Therefore, he started using a disguise, of course, by getting rid of the garrison's usual doctor, by giving him a free trip to the continent. He also befriended the cook under another identity, while the cook was out on the town. Thus, he was able to suggest a specific recipe for a specific date, the eve of the jewel theft. Then he went to nab the ravens. The effects of this theft permitted him to first create an inauspicious event that forced a reduction in the size of the garrison so that the news wouldn't spread. Second, to have access to the storeroom in order to poison the tomatoes that were going to be used in the recipe that he gave to the cook. Third, to pose as Paul Cernin, that doctor who would be called in the case of emergency. Fourth, given that a theft had already taken place at the Tower of London, we would have had to have bats in the belfry to think that there would be another. Lupin also needed to get the police out of the area, which happened as I already explained.
I understand, but what of the other thefts?
A part of the process of conditioning, they caused us to put little weight on the theft in the Tower of London. If that had been the only prelude, we would have taken more time to ponder the clues and find Lupin's true intentions. Yet this time he didn't leave it up to us, and so, like I told you, these thefts were his insurance. Lupin had beaten us 4 times on the battlefield of English honor, such as he had suggested to us in his letter. Our pride in not bringing our defeats public was our sin, and it made us prisoners of his game. If he had proven beaten, he could have profited from the restitution of the objects, the price of his silence regarding our failures, and the true value of our police. A discreet release was a small price to pay with regards to an affront of international scope. Do not forget that the Queen herself is implicated.
Indeed. It is, moreover, a matter of conscience for me. When I write this adventure, I do not think
But there's no question, Watson. You cannot write about it. You promised before God that you wouldn't.
But, Holmes...
Your word is your bond. In any case, you wouldn't want to relate the ignoble theft that you committed, that of my Order of the Legion of Honor.
Holmes, you know that.
It's in the past, Watson. It's in the past. Incidentally, a young woman came by to return it a few moments ago. She wanted to deliver it to you directly. She seemed to know you well. A young woman who can be found at the Golden Lion, am I right? She doesn't seem like your usual client, unless, of course, you were the client in this case. What do you say, Watson?